I'll have a slice of cinnamon cake. Winch will be happy on his birthday with a cinnamon cake. We rank ourselves simply in terms of our fame, tell tales of a friend, a traditional game with a cinnamon cake. There's lots of things that I enjoy that give me such a thrill, but nothing can compare with the joy I get in salting krill. You'd think he'd be used to it by now. I'll keep doing it anyhow. The adventure continues.
Jareth Summerhall walks into the living room of his farmhouse and stands at the doorway sipping some spiced mead. It's been a tough day, but aren't they all when you own your own farm? And he's earned this treat. His wife, Melandria, looks up from her knitting and they share a moment of loving recognition. They have shared this life for 20 years, and Sean T. willing, they'll share it for another 20. When Melandria breaks the eye contact, Jareth's gaze drifts down to their daughter, Sandine, who has just reached her 13th name day. Unaware of her father's watchful eye, her ever-inquisitive Sandine reads her history book by the fire. Life is good for the Summerhalls, and Jareth wouldn't change a thing. Just as he is downing the last drop of mead, the family hear an almighty crash from outside. Rushing to the window, Jareth looks out to see a boulder the size of a horse rolling to a stop in their garden. He doesn't have long to take in this surprising item before a corner of his house is torn clean off, and a hill giant is looking through the hole. The hill giant reaches through, trying to get Jareth and his family, presumably to make one or all of them his meal. His arm fills the kitchen and his hand starts creeping towards the family. They back away and find themselves just out of his reach. The giant closes and flexes his fist several times, and on the final attempt the fingertips just brush Melandria before his arm is swiftly withdrawn. The Summerhalls fear that the giant is about to move to a different part of the house when they hear a roar from outside in garbled language none of them understand. Jareth tells his family to stay safe and edges towards the gap to see what's happening outside. The hill giant has been joined by another giant, this one blue and larger. Jareth has only ever experienced hill giants in the past, and this new visitor is most unlike them. Other than his size, he is decked in armour and looks cleaner all round. He does not know who or what this giant is. After some angry words, the hill giant grabs his great club and attacks the newcomer. Although he is slow to react, the second giant is able to dodge out the way just in time to avoid being hit. The blue giant roars as he charges towards the hill giant and they crash into each other. Jareth is stricken, watching these two behemoths battle, terrified to move in case one or both spot him. He is eventually broken from the paralysis when he sees that the hill giant has lost his footing and the pair are tumbling down towards him, towards the house. Jareth turns, sprinting towards his family, and they all scurry into the next room just as the two giants come crashing through the roof and into the house. The demolition tears down the walls separating the giants and the Summerhalls, and the blue giant sees the family for the first time. The ferocity in his face drops for half a second as their eyes meet, and the humans wonder if he even knew they were in there in the first place. The hill giant also turns to see the Summerhalls, and despite an opponent on top of him, he reaches out to grab Sandine. The blue giant shifts his weight and reaches out too, not for the humans, but for the hill giant's arm. He grabs it by the wrist and forces it to the ground just before it reaches the young girl. Distracted by his attempts to save the humans, the blue giant is caught off guard as the hill giant slams his fist into the side of his head. It's not enough to loosen the grip on his wrist, but almost. The family try to escape the building, but they soon realise their best exit point is the other side of the giants. One by one, they creep up and around the head of the hill giant. Sandine first, then Melandria, and finally Jareth. As Jareth is passing, the hill giant manages to get some strength under him and thrusts his opponent off of him. Unfortunately for Jareth, the blue giant is now hurtling down on top of him. Jareth drops to the ground, shutting his eyes, praying to Shanti the giant will go over the top of him. Just at the moment he is expecting collision, there is an almost silence, and the only noise he can hear is the sound of dust and debris falling from the toppled walls around. Jareth reopens his eyes, looks up and sees that the larger giant is perched over him, having just managed to get his elbows in place to stop him crushing the human. In an instant, the hill giant is up and thrusting his foot down on the back of the blue giant again and again. From this angle, Jareth can see the blue giant's face, and the pain is written all over it. But while he does lower a little, Jareth can tell he's doing all he can to not fall and kill him. In the next few seconds, two things happen. Firstly, the blue giant rolls to the side, exposing Jareth to the hill giant once again. Seeing Jareth, a flash of hunger crosses the hill giant's face. He is about to pounce on his human victim when the second thing happens. The blue giant's trailing hand snatches Jareth up and into safety, just as the other meaty hands would have scooped him up and into his mouth. Jareth is cradled in his protector's hands, as the hill giant rushes them both and manages to grab the arm. Wrestling amongst themselves, and the battle taking its toll, the two giants drop to their knees, the blue giant holding Jareth, and the hill giant trying to pry open his fist. The blue giant is doing everything he can to protect Jareth, but in his desire to keep him safe, his grip tightens and Jareth actually feels like he might crush him instead. Jareth can hear the cries of anguish from the ground as Melandria and Sandine fear for the life of their husband and father. But then the battle turns. The hill giant releases one hand from the arm and sucker punches the blue giant. This moment is enough for the grip to be loosened and the hill giant to get his fingers inside the fist. Jareth can see the blue fingers unfurling, and he digs his heels in to do everything he can to hang on. It's at this point Jareth looks down to see the hill giant has manoeuvred so his head is under the fist, mouth wide open, waiting for the human to fall in and become his meal. The blue giant's hand is clammy from the battle and Jareth is struggling to hang on. He can see that open mouth peering up at him and an almighty stench is filling his nostrils. This is it, thinks Jareth. This is how I die. He loses his footing and starts slipping. As he is dropping, waiting to enter that disgusting void and die, the blue giant manages to reach down, grab that horse-sized boulder from the ground and ram it into the hill giant's mouth, breaking what remaining teeth he had left. Stunned, the hill giant releases the arm, allowing the blue giant to follow up with an almighty uppercut to the hill giant, which breaks his jaw and smashes his skull from the inside. The hill giant slumps to the floor, broken and almost certainly dead. The blue giant takes a few breaths to get back his composure and lowers Jareth to the ground. Jareth runs to his family, and they share a relieved embrace. As the blue giant stands, Sandine lets out a short yell of fear.
Do not worry, little one. My name is Harshnag, and I do not wish you harm. This one, however, and many more of our kind do. I will do what I can to protect you.
He starts walking away.
But I fear I cannot do this alone.
That blue giant's face phases out and ages a little. And we now see it again, sat outside Zymorphan Hall, in front of 5 adventurers who he wishes to talk to.
So, it is time we should talk, yes?
Yes, let's go gather around what's left of your fire. So we're going to toddle off over there. We're all going to sit down. Is anyone doing anything in particular? I'll tell you what you're going to do.
I insist on standing.
Just to make it abundantly clear that you're not as tall as the giant.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's worth noting that Harshnag is basically sort of sat by the fire. He is sat down, so probably with Krill stood up there. There's probably still a few inches, but it's comparatively closer to his the top of his height.
Did you have a nice sleep?
Well, I mean, as nice as you can have when it's interrupted at like 3 a.m, I suppose. But
I find a good fight in the night.
Did we get a long rest?
I don't know where this accent comes from. He gone a little bit Gallic with his Harshnag. I find a good fight helps with the sleep.
Would you like some birthday cake? I believe we have some left over. It's very good.
Very much I would enjoy this cake.
Quinch, could you hand the good chap some birthday cake?
Yes, of course. Harshnag, please have some of my birthday cake.
And are you slicing off, or what are you doing in terms of what are you?
Yeah, handing him a slice. Yeah.
Okay, so he comes down and he gets it betwixt his fingers, and it's very much like that Hulk scene from Endgame with the tacos. You see this tiny little bit of cake, which is sort of like he's semi-squishing it, like with his strength, and he raises it to his mouth and drops it in.
Very nice.
It's good, isn't it? Yes, it's my birthday cake.
Is it your birthday today?
It is, yes. So, sorry, I'm embarrassed that you've asked.
And how old are you today?
I don't think gentlemen reveal such numbers. I'm certainly not. I'm older than 14, don't worry. Not that you'd be worried for any reason. Never you mind, Harshnag, never you mind. I wish I was as wise as I was old.
I wish I was as old as I am wise.
My God.
How old do you think Harshnag is?
You don't look a day over 40.
You are very kind. I'm closer to 800.
Yes, well, that's very impressive. Then your skincare routine is marvellous.
Perhaps we've got better things to be talking about rather than birthday cake and skin routines, I guess. Like,
Of course.
Harshnag, I guess the first burning question that we all have is, what the heck is happening with the whole giants? Why, I've forgotten what it is now.
The ordning.
Yes, the ordning. The ordning.
The
What's
awning.
going on? There's fire giants, hill giants, all acting out of place.
As you mentioned specifically the word ordning, can you roll me a charisma roll, please?
Oh, I would love nothing more, because I am the most charismatic old man you will ever meet in your life.
That's what I've heard.
Hey, you try and charm an older lady into having a tiramisu with you.
No, I've tried.
Then
It didn't go quite as well.
That is a 16 overall.
Okay. He's impressed is probably the wrong word, but he's suitably intrigued, I guess, by the fact that you've used the word the ordning, or that it's not necessarily something that he would have heard outside of giant kind very often. Certainly not being spoken to him by a human. He might have sort of spoke to his previous colleagues about it, but actually hearing someone else mentioning it to him in particular is quite intriguing to him. He says,
So you know this word, ordning. What do you know about the ordning?
Well, the only thing that we really know about the ordning is it's the way in which the giants are, I'm not going to say ranked, but I guess it's like your social classes, isn't it? And which giant holds the most power in the order of giants, I guess. Hence, I'm guessing the name the ordering.
No, these are true words. Where did you learn of this?
Well,
It is not something I have heard from one of your stature. He looks at Tweezle. I apologize. It is something I have not heard spoken to me from others. Where did you learn of this?
Well, just look at me. Don't I look like a wise old gentleman? I'm a very learned man, I have, spent many a day in a library.
So you learned this from a book.
Well, from a book and, well, maybe a few other giants that we've spoken to along the way.
You have experienced other giants.
he looks perplexed and sort of like eyes wide open that you've come this far and have encountered others.
Oh, yes, we've met many. I think the first one that we met on our little adventure in the last month or so would have been my good friend, what was her name? Ildeman, and her elf giant friend. Do you know anything of them?
Of so that was the fire giant.
Hildeman. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I thought they're
giant.
hills. Yeah.
I think we got names for the hill giants. We just murdered them and stole their goat.
Yeah,
Mm.
they were the were they the first you came across?
They
They
were.
were the first ones you came
Yes,
across,
yes.
and then
Because we saved
Um,
our good friend Sebastian, didn't we, from the Hill Giants?
yeah. So you mentioned the fire giants. That would retcon it that you said fire giants.
The fire giants, they are the closest thing to the frost giants in terms of fighting and combat. Where we are fierce, they are tactical. Of course, a good frost giant could take down many fire giants. Harshnag, and he thumps against his chest. Harshnag could take down at least 10 fire giants himself. But this is not a time for boasting. I have come across fire giants, stone giants, cloud giants, all of them. In terms of the ordning, yes, you are right. There is a ladder with the hill giants at the bottom and the storm giants at the very top. And within each giant kind, within each society, each giant has a place within their own ordning. But you have mentioned that there is trouble with the ordning. You may not know the ordning is currently down, for want of a better word.
Down for maintenance.
Have you tried turning it off and turning it on again?
I do not understand this joke, Dweezil, but I suspect it's very funny.
It's not.
It has been down for a few weeks now. I do not know how long exactly, but I do know why it is down. I just do not know how to bring it back.
How did it go down then? Why?
I believe it has something to do with King Hecaton of the Storm Giants. He is their leader and the closest thing that giant kind has to a king. He calls himself king, but it is not a real title.
Is it Elon Musk? Did he buy the ordning?
He's dismantled the back end and now the algorithm's gone.
Charging everyone to be blue giants or something like that.
Did you are you a real blue giant or did you just have $8?
It's weird because when this goes out, Twitter won't actually exist anymore.
No, it won't. This will all be not very topical. You mentioned King Hecaton. So
King
I asked you before about why you're, some different to some of the giants because we've been told that.
Did you?
Well,
Did you
I
actually
might
ask?
have asked you. We definitely,
you asked me,
we
you
definitely discussed. So I was just pondering because you seem like, despite us maybe getting off on the wrong foot with you being a bit bossy and a bit, sizist, which you have apologised for, and I've accepted your apology. We've heard in the past that the Big Frosty Boys are somewhat unpleasant, really cruel and nasty. And you're not, Harshnag. You've been a really decent bloke so far, and you've got a lovely, pleasant demeanour, which belies really your kind of frosty appearance. If anything, you're very warm, which is the opposite of cold. So, sorry if that's patronising. I've just explained to you opposites to do with temperature.
Harshnag is not the sharpest axe in the grinder, but that's not a phrase.
Do you know Zephyros?
I do not know this name. Who is this Zephyros?
He knows much of the ordning.
Is he giant like Harshnag?
Yes, very similar. We all get on with him very well.
Similar in some ways. He's not a frost giant.
What type of giant is he?
He's a what is he? He's a cloud giant, isn't he? He's a cloud giant. Yes.
Cloud giant. Yes. Was he one with the castle with a cloud or?
Yes, castle in the clouds.
No, I've not spoken to many of them. Most cloud giants I see are on land. I have not seen them Seen many of those in the sky.
If you get the chance, you must check it out. The brickwork is particularly the brickwork rather is particularly impressive. I got a nice opportunity to see it up close. It's very sturdy.
So you don't know much about cloud giants at all. So you wouldn't happen to know who the Countess is then?
The Countess. No, this is not someone I am knowing. She's a cloud giant you were speaking of? Is that correct?
Yes. She had a castle over. What was the city's name? I can't remember now. Silvery Moon. Yes, Silvery Moon. She was chatting.
No.
Oh.
I have heard of some important giants. Obviously, King Hecaton we have spoken of. The Frost Giants, one of the main people, one of the main lords there is Jarl Storvold of the Frost Giants. And
what about the Fire Giants? What about Duke Zalto?
I have heard this name before, yes.
What do you know about him? Because when we met my good friend Ildamine, and she said they were hunting for the rolling dog, or the Rotter rolling dog.
The rolling dog.
The running dog, yes, or otherwise known as the Volling dog.
The Rod of Vonindod.
There we go. That's the one.
I have not heard of this. I know of the Fire Giants. I have not met this Duke Zalto. I do know his name. I have heard that he is quite a cruel master, but beyond that I have not met him. We do not socialize in the same way that humans or elves or dragonborns and other races do. We are a little more competitive as a race.
Krill leans into Greg. He's going to lean into Greg, and he's going to cup his hands around what would be Greg's ear, but it's naturally big hands. Going to cover a large portion of the side of his head. It's going to look really comical. He's going to say, "Is it not suspicious that he's at this exact location where the giant killer weapon is, or was?"
Well, I don't know. Perhaps we should just ask him first what he's doing. I'll tell you what, old chap. Can you tell us what you're actually doing here?
Are you asking? You're saying this to Harshnag?
Yeah, I'm saying this to Harshnag.
It is a good question. I believe your name is Greg.
It's Gregomel Wallows the Wise, I will have you know.
Oh, you are seeming wise, so this is a good name for you. What am I doing here? Well, Harshnag, I see myself, I don't know why I called himself in the third person. I see myself as someone who wishes to do good in this world. Turning back to Dweezil, you asked me why I'm different to the Frost Giants.
I did, yes, just before Quinch jumped in with a non sequitur about Zephyros. Yeah. Thanks for coming back to me, though, Harshnag.
I may not be the sharpest axe in the grinder, but I remember when you ask a question. Frost Giants are ferocious. Our place in the Ordning, we believe that strength and might is what makes a giant great. Harshnag is a big giant, fierce giant. I am not the most fierce, and so my place in the Ordning is somewhere in the middle. I am not one of the top Frost Giants, nor am I the bottom. Turning back to Greg, this has given me, I believe you call this perspective. I have seen how people at the top act. I have seen how they can, and you sort of see sort of a bit of a rueful look on his face, turn cruel. I have also seen those at the bottom who have not been able to defend themselves. I feel this has given me a good place to understand that strength and might is not everything it should be. We should use this I believe that there is a phrase with great strength comes being very responsible.
That is a very well known saying. Yes, I absolutely agree. But
So you asked-
I did not mean like in such a philosophical question of what are you doing here. I meant what are you doing here at Dalmarvin Hall?
Ah, I see. I mean, the two things are closely linked. I left my frost giant friends many years ago for reasons we can discuss at some point. I have traveled for centuries looking to protect those who need protection. This is how I came to be part of Force Grey. You ask why I am here now? Well, since the ordning fell, I have seen my giant cousins acting especially cruel, especially dangerous. And so I have been doing what I can to take out those who I feel are doing evil in this world, who are hurting people, whether that is ones of your size, whether that is animals, whether that is other giants. If there are giants out there who are giving us a bad name, I am out there trying to stop them. I found a couple of stone giants who I came into contact with them, and I did not get a good feeling about them. I followed them, and eventually I saw them attacking, and he points back to Zymorphin Hall, attacking this great wonder. And so I could not let this stand, and I stepped in. I could see that you were fighting them already and were doing a fantastic job. But 6 hands are better than 5, yes?
Fair.
That is what they say.
Yes. I mean, do you know what they were doing here? The rock giants, that is.
I can only speculate what they were doing here. But stone giants, they are a funny breed, the stone giants. They largely, you do not see many of them. They largely keep themselves to themselves. They often live under mountains and underground. They are not always understanding why humans and other races are using stone to build houses, to build homes, to build cities. It is possible they saw this wonderful house, this, and wanted to tear it down. But I am speculating. I cannot say.
So do you know their master? What was his name? Fane. Someone help me out here because I can't read / write my own writing here.
I believe you are referring to Thane Kyalithica.
Yes, that's the one.
He is one. Again, I do not know him. I've heard his name. I apologize. Her name.
Is she the leader of the rock giants? Is she? As far as you're aware.
She is one. Each giant has a number of rulers, if you will. The frost giants have a number of jarls. The stone giants have thanes. The dukes rule the fire giants. But these names we have discussed, these are ones which, in my travel, I have heard speak of cruel plans, or wishing to take over the world, wishing to rise to the top of the ordning. With no ordning, every giant thinks that it is their chance to step up to the top. King Hecaton has been there for so long, but with him missing, it is difficult to know who will want to truly take that seat.
And no one has any idea of where King Hecaton's gone.
I have only heard rumor of his missing. It is, whilst I talk of it as if it is definite, it is something I've just heard on the wind. I've heard from other giants I have killed. It is something that we should understand and investigate if we are wishing to bring the ordering back.
Well,
But
I mean, that
where
makes
he-
sense. You say it was probably because of King Harold and that the ordering was down, or is down, sorry.
It seems likely the two are connected. It's for such a powerful thing that unites the giant kind to be not working when the highest of the high in the giant ranking is missing. It is surely not a coincidence. This is why I wish to go to the Eye. I wish to speak to the oracle there and find out if we could find out any information about the Hecaton, the Ordning, or anything else. Just find a way. I feel that until now I have been putting out fires of just stopping one giant here, two giants there. But it is becoming clear that this is too much for Harshnag to do on his own. And so I am looking for ways to improve our circumstances.
Well, my good Sir Heckleton, if you wish to parlay and join our party, we would be much appreciated to have you along. I mean, we could do with a strong, tall chap on our team because we don't really have anyone that matches that description at the moment.
At this, Harshnag lets out a massive, great big laugh, like a big bellowing laugh.
This is a good one, Greg. You have two mighty big warriors here.
The camera cuts to Quinch, who's currently cupping one of his farts and smelling it.
It then cuts back to Greg, who is posing with both his arms, flexing his muscles.
It then cuts to Krill, who has not uncupped his hands from the side of Greg's head this whole time.
And you say you know where the eye is. Where exactly is this eye? Or actually, what is it and where is it?
The Eye of the Allfather is a temple for all giant kind.
There is a temple, I see.
It is in the far north, in the mountains.
And he sort of nods, as I say, to the north. And even from here, where you are by Zarmoven Hall, you can see off in the distance. You can see large mountain ranges. Snow-capped mountains and things like that. And you know as well from your own sort of general knowledge that the very north of where you are is a cold and unforgiving place. You know, it's very famous. You might not necessarily know all the towns and cities and things that are up there, but you definitely know that beyond where you are now, it starts getting cold. In fact, you know, compared where you are now, in fact, at Zarmoven Hall, you know, the temperature here compared to when you're in Nightstone, for example, it's much chillier here than it would have been down south. So yeah, you know a little bit about the north. You don't know this eye. This is something that's completely new to you, but its general location you know bits about.
Yes, but we need the peak pendant, you say, to find the exact location.
This is correct. I need to find a peak pendant. I think I know where I can find one. In Miraba.
You say one, as if there's more than one of these peak pendants.
Well, peak pendants are a thing which help travelers in the frosty north to find places. I am hoping that there is a peak pendant which will help me to find the place of the eye. I have heard of the eye. It is not somewhere I have been before, which is why when I have come across giants such as this stone giant, I have been asking in case one of them knows, and this is fortunate that this day has brought me both information of the peak pendant and, looking at you all, 5 truly worthy warriors.
It's somewhat fortuitous that you say Mirabar, because we must travel to Xanthal's Keep, which, if I recall correctly, Gregomel, is very, very close to Mirabar and is certainly along the way. Perhaps we can travel together.
Are you saying this to Greg or to me? Or to Harshnag?
To Harshnag.
This is very fortuitous. The gods are smiling on Harshnag today. I do not know why you are laughing, Quinch.
Actually, some of the cinnamon cake frosting went up my nose and I cough spluttered. I do apologise.
I would be very willing and happy to journey with you. I am journeying with adventurers in the past, and they often have a name for themselves, a group collective. Does your group have a name?
Oh, I'm sure you've heard of us. Don't you worry about that. We are the Carnival. Everybody has heard of the Carnival.
This is not a name I have heard, no.
Can't tell if Mike's doing a bit or if he's forgotten our name. Judging from his reaction, it looks more like he's forgotten our name.
Yeah, might be that.
So close, like close enough to know, but
I mean, he's really good at playing the senile old man, isn't he?
It just built into my blood, isn't it?
Greg, you silly Billy.
I can stop you now and say I have not heard of the Carnival or indeed any other groups which have a similar name. This is not.
What about the circus?
No, nor the festival, the fete, or
The caravan.
Le Cirque. None of these ring any bells with Harshnag.
County Fair.
No. I mean,
I'll accept Jumble Sale at this point.
Car boot sale.
Jumble sale.
But yes, I would love to come with you.
I know what our name is. Our name is Forge Grey. That's right. Yes, that's who we are.
I do not. I say I'm not the sharpest axe, but I know you are not Force Grey.
No, we're the Forge Grey 2.0.
Like a Force Grey tribute act.
Yeah.
Perhaps if I travel with you to Xanthal's Keep, perhaps you come with me to the Eye?
Aye.
It is not something you need to decide now. We are, and you sort of see him like thinking. We are a few days away from Xanthal's. It will take us some time to reach there, and even more to reach Mirabar. You may decide along the way if you wish to join Harshnag.
Harshnag, can I ask you a question?
You already have, Krill.
Is there a limit on questions?
You may ask 5.
I do not know where you can find a fucking belt.
That wasn't the question. Bit presumptuous of you. I'll forgive you.
You seem the sort that would ask the same question many, many times.
Oh, no. We'll maybe come back to that, though. Thank you for bringing it up. As a giant, have you ever heard about... What's the word? What do they call it? The prophecy of a goat named Sebastian.
I do not deal with prophecies. You would need to talk to storm giants for such a thing. They are all about prophecies and omens.
Do you know any?
I believe storm giants are you talking about, or prophecies?
Either.
Storm giants? No.
Prophecies?
No.
It's weird because the way you said that implied that you knew one, but We'll move on.
Yes, this is true. It was called comedic effect.
Harshnag,
Yes.
I think we should probably set off. On the way though, whilst we're travelling, I would like to speak to you regarding the ordning and the problems with the giants, and my own personal opinions, which some might consider somewhat woke, and which aren't necessarily compatible with the reinstatement of the ordning, which I feel perhaps is slightly problematic in this day and age. But maybe we can discuss that and perhaps any suggestions that you might have for alternative methods of solving the issue with the giants without imposing some kind of hereditary hierarchical structure, which is designed to keep the low-born down and the high-born at the top. But we can talk about that at your leisure.
I am willing to have these conversations. As I said, we are many days away. We can talk about many things, Dweezil. I suspect you will like a talk. That was Nathan. That was Nathan.
Just saying it in the giant's voice. Right, let me just check my spell list. Can Harshnag please make a no?
I am willing to go. Is there anything else you wish to do before we travel?
Thanks for listening. Make sure you don't miss out on the Circus's next crazy antics by hitting subscribe on your podcast app of choice. And in between episodes, you can always find us on social media by searching Dyson Desire on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. We're in our 3rd year now, and if you want to help us grow, you can do so in a number of ways. You can tell a friend, because word of mouth really helps us get our name out there, or you can review us on Apple or Podchaser to help with our visibility. Finally, you can donate to our Ko-fi page to help us take the show to the next level. All links can be found in this episode's description. And never forget, sometimes it is a dog licking a tree, yes?
In a world besieged by darkness, torn apart by hatred, where the cruel, the wicked, and the heartless rule over all, Romancing the Dungeon is an epic tale of 4 legendary heroes who unite in the name of love, unity, and friendship to bring light and hope back into the world.
Are you serious? Those 4 wouldn't know what love is even if it was tattooed on their asses. You got the wrong show if you think these 4 are love experts. I'm the only love expert you need, so we're doing this my way. If you desire romance, we got it.
There's my favorite person.
Morning.
How you doing, Angel?
Great.
Come here, and I sort of get in real close, and I like lips sort of purse, but I flutter my lips and give a little like.
And if you love drama, we got that too.
I need you to find and kill Eugenia Flatstone. I need her heart.
Okay, well we haven't. I think it's been a while since we've done the heart thing. How am I supposed to get that to you? Because I don't think walking around with an old lady's heart is gonna go well for me personally.
If action is your passion, well, there's plenty of that as well.
For my bonus action, I'm going to use Blessing of the Raven Queen to go behind the other guy.
Okay.
And basically come up behind him with a dagger to his neck to get him to stop.
God damn.
What the fuck happened to you in the woods?
Join Thane, Thea, Nate, and Hephaestus as they put their hearts and my reputation on the line in a race to rescue an eccentric bride from the clutches of evil, battle against the insatiable forces of darkness, and try not to die along the way, I suppose.
I start taking my clothes off.
Okay.
And I take a blanket from the bed, and I wrap it around me, and I start following the steps, and I go, I'm a greasy little peanut. I'm a greasy little peanut. I'm a greasy little peanut.
Oh, for the love of... I don't even know why I bother.
Romancing the Dungeon, a softcore D&D podcast about 4 heroes on a quest for true love and discovering what that really means for them. Available wherever good podcasts are found.
Good podcasts? Well, that's blatant false advertising.